Hey everybody, welcome to Millennial Mindset Marketing, Module 3, Webinar 5, Diving into Digital. Hope everyone had a great Wednesday, hump day. Woo, we're almost to the weekend. Hope everyone had a great day today. As you will see, you should all be seeing my screen officially. I will not be on video with you this evening due to my location, and it's just not set up for a video this evening. I am actually leaving to go out of the country tomorrow. My husband and I are finally going on our honeymoon 7 months later. So very excited, happy to be here with you guys. Thank you for being so understanding with the date change. My husband and I got married in October. Our honeymoon got canceled due to a hurricane. So finally, 7 months later is when we were able to stick it back into the calendar. So I so appreciate everybody being understanding. We are gonna just jump into it because, ladies and gentlemen, we have so much content to cover in this module together. I know obviously we are looking at a PowerPoint together, and of course I send you the recorded file on the very next day, which you will all get the recap email tomorrow. But if you have pen and paper in front of you, I don't blame you for taking notes, because of course I say a lot more than what is on each slide, and there again is so much ground to cover this evening. We're getting into a lot of the meat here in Module 3 and continue to get meatier as we move through our 12 weeks together. I can't believe we're almost at the halfway point, everyone. It's just gone so fast already. Here we are, Module 3, Webinar 5, Diving into Digital, Millennial Mindset Marketing. Let's jump into it. Here we go. So diving into digital, which means we're going to be covering a lot of landscape, of course, in the digital space. We're going to be talking about mobile, websites, PPC campaigns, SEO keywords, and of course, I just want to set the tone here from the very first slide. A lot of this content that we're going to cover might be, sometimes it's the first time people hear it here on Millennial Mindset Marketing, because we are getting, especially deeper into the digital space. So in no way, shape, or form do I expect any of you to be experts on the content that we are going to be starting to get into, especially within this module. But I believe that every entrepreneur, every business owner, every person who is dedicated to scaling their business career, we should all know all the marketing opportunities and resources available to us. So whether we're doing it or we're hiring a professional to help us do it, we can speak their language that much more. And especially some of the content that we're going to get into this evening, so many people tell you that they've been burned by professionals in the past, and that's why I just want to make sure that we're all empowered with the right know-how and insight, so that we can make sure that if working with professionals, of course, in the digital landscape, that's when webmasters really come into play. We can speak their language that much easier. Sometimes, dealing with somebody who is so techy and so savvy with websites, they speak over us, right? They're using terminology that we don't know, which is hard to wrap our head around and keep up with the conversation. So I think tonight is going to bring a lot of insight, a lot of aha moments, and hopefully more clarity in the digital space. So here we go. Digital facts. These are just some, major facts that if anybody's thinking that digital is not worth the time and energy, hopefully that will not be the case by the end of this presentation. I'm sure all of us are on the same page here as ready as, which is why we're dedicated to this program. So with that being said, consumers lose interest very fast, and most people are impatient. If a website isn't mobile friendly, it could take only seconds for a consumer to lose interest and stop navigating. Remember, guys, we totally just talked about the very short attention span of this generation and of Generation Z, which is the generation, after millennials, those 17 and younger. We only have about 7 seconds to really hook people's attention. And truly, there are statistics and studies that show if your website, takes more than 5 seconds to load, you're bounce rate will be that much higher than a website that automatically populated and published within a second or 2 seconds. So that should not be the reason that we lose out on traffic and, of course, potential clients, consumers. 72% of consumers demand a mobile-friendly site for the ease of navigation, and consumers are spending 15+ hours a week researching on their smartphones. That's a lot of time spent on a smartphone. So think about all the time that people could be navigating through your space or your industry or your service or your product. And if you're not mobile optimized, you know, they will miss out on the opportunity to find you and your business. And of course, small businesses are more likely to have an advantage of making sales online if, of course, their site is mobile friendly. So let's get into what makes a website and a mobile website work and convert well. So, 10 facts on how people view websites. Text attracts more attention than pictures, which might be a little confusing. You would think that imagery grabs people's attention, and yes, imagery absolutely does grab people's attention. But when you are using keywords, or I like to call hot words, or buzzwords, or trendy words, or of course words that have been copywritten by someone professional, that text could actually draw in a consumer or client that much more than a visual. And that's why we are going to be really diving into keywords throughout this presentation, because all of us should be able to rattle off the keywords that are relevant to our industry to make sure that we're using those keywords in important places like, of course, our website. Menu works best when placed in the top part of your website. So you can see here in this screen grab, let me see if I can make this a little bigger for you guys. Yes, here we go. You can see here in this screen grab, this is the menu or a mock menu from what could be at the top of the page. And I'm talking, you see my arrow. Look at this. I'm talking, oh, you know what? I can annotate. I'm talking the menu bar literally up here where there are different tabs of whatever is relevant to your website. Maybe it's about should be up here. Maybe it's about. Maybe it's services, maybe it's reviews, maybe it's contact. So these are all the things that should, of course, be clear all drawings. These are the things that we should be flushing through of what is the most important that we want to help people navigate to on our website, and that should be placed on the top menu bar. Some people have menu bars on the side of their website, or I've even seen menu bars at the bottom because they use so much of the home page for a video or for imagery, and we definitely don't want to do that. We want to make sure that we're giving them the right place, designating them to the right places at the top of the page. Why can't I get my mouse back? Hello? Okay, well that is strange. Excuse me, hold on one second. Wow, okay, come on. My mouse literally stopped. So sorry guys, hold on, I'm frozen. Oh no, oh no. Come on, come on. Wow, hear that noise? It's my screen is really frozen here. Oh no, Control Escape, come on. Oh, this is crazy. Okay, come on, there has to be a solution. We're talking digital here. Let digital work for us. Come on, mouse. Okay, well that's the last time I try to use that annotation. You know what? I'm so sorry, everyone. I am literally blocked here. I might have to log back out and everybody log back into the webinar. I can't think of any other solution, being that nothing is showing up on my screen. So hopefully everyone, I'm just going to reload really quickly and try to get back on as soon as possible. I'm so sorry to have to do this. This has never happened before here on Zoom. So I will be right back as soon as my computer reloads, everybody. Very sorry. Oh, okay. Actually, I think I got it back. Okay, no, cancel, cancel. All right, I think we're back in motion. Clear, clear all drawings. Go away, okay. Give me back my screen. Okay, we made it. So we're moving forward. Sorry about that. Again, don't know why that happened. 5 facts on how people view mobile websites. Now, of course, so much of what we do on our desktop browser should, of course, mirror our mobile website, but there are a few things to take into consideration, especially because the mobile screen is, of course, way smaller than a desktop screen or desktop interface. So this is a really interesting fact, and I definitely challenge all of you to be aware of where your eyes tend to gravitate as you scroll through your mobile device and even on your desktop browsers. But readers' attention is more focused on the top left corner of a screen, meaning that our eyes tend to immediately gravitate towards the top left corner, which shouldn't come as so much surprise if you think about the way in which we read. We read from, left to right. So I think because that's such a native, function for our eyes and for our brain to think, to go and do, that's where we do tend to gravitate on desktop and mobile browsers. So that's why when I said the about should be in the left tab, a lot of people immediately look to know more about the brand or the service or the story of the company. And usually the bio or the about or our story tends to be in the top left corner. Two is to keep content short and concise. Think about it. So when you are on your mobile device, and think about when you have such a, something very long form, maybe it's 800 words or even 500 words is feels a little bit longer on a mobile phone. We have to continuously scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll. And there's about enough, we kind of max out at a certain point after having to scroll to read or find the content or text that's most relevant to us. So short and concise. And users pay most attention to the top 2/3 of the screen, and that is, of course, because it's whatever's published on our screen. Sometimes even if it's just the home page, and let's say something very important is at the bottom of your home page, if it doesn't publish, showing what's at the bottom on your mobile device, then people are really going to focus on where that yellow box is, the 2/3 portion of the screen. So think about that and talk to your web developer to make sure that your mobile friendly site all of the most important information is going to be most visible on your mobile friendly site. And mobile phone users absorb visuals more than text or content. So this is kind of contradicting, what this says, number 2, where is it? Number 1 here, text attracts more than attention and pictures. But that shouldn't come as a surprise because of how, how small our screens are. And that's why I say, make sure that your keywords and your hot words, your buzzwords are also associated with an imagery. So both are pulling your eyes towards that in particular. Short headlines with keywords will attract more attention than long ones. Of course they will. And we're going to dive more into keywords. So now is the time to ask yourself, if you, and especially throughout this program, as we continue to get, deeper into what should be on our website, where it should be, in addition to content on website, is to really start thinking, is my website working for me, or really is it working against me? And one of the best ways to really go about this conversation is to really narrow in on the primary purpose of your website. So at the end of the day, there are two types of websites. Those that are very content driven and those that are e-commerce driven, meaning having a shopping cart, and the primary purpose of the website is to ultimately purchase a product or service. So content marketing sites think very blog heavy, Huffington Post, perfect example of a content marketing site. You don't think to go to Huffington Post to purchase a product. You think of it to consume content, to consume news. So content marketing sites are much more dependent on traffic because there's a direct relationship between hits and ad revenue, especially for a content site like a HuffPo. Of course, all their ad revenue is from traffic, coming to read all of the articles on HuffingtonPost.com. Versus e-commerce websites that are dependent on conversions, whereas page hits are significantly less important, and of course, they're looking for more conversions of sales on the website. So maybe you are also a little bit of both. You have services or a program or some small element of a shopping cart. Maybe you have 2 or 3, marketing items or things that you could purchase in addition to maybe a larger, your larger play, which is more content driven. But so, understanding the balance and making sure the primary the purpose of your business shines through your website and that the navigation is relevant to the purpose of where you want your traffic to ultimately end up on your website. And how old is your website? Or rather, how new is your website? Technology is constantly evolving. There are constantly new widgets or functions or additions we can make to our website to make sure they are staying the most relevant as possible, and that our websites aren't making us seem outdated, because what our website should be as relevant as our professional presence or our actual expertise. So make sure your website really, represents who you are, who your business is, what your product is, what your service is, as well as it should. And is your branding, messaging, services, or products clear? I can't tell, and I'm sure so many of you have have had this experience as well. But you're trying to find a certain something online, and you're navigating through. Maybe you're navigating on your mobile device, so you have that much more screen space to actually navigate. And it's very hard for you to figure out, what the about is, where the story is, how to purchase the service, what services do they provide, what is entailed in what service. So your website should leave people without question. That's why a website is established, to share the information. So make sure that as we evolve within our brands, business, careers, so does the messaging and the copy and the imagery and even the formatting of the website. And crowdsource feedback. Sometimes we're so in it, especially within our own business or brand, especially if we are our own business, those with, personal brands. And sometimes we really need an outside perspective to look in, to see something or to not see something that we're not noticing it because we're in it. I love crowdsourcing feedback. Sometimes I do it, with a exclusive inner circle where I'm not outwardly sharing what I am looking for feedback on, or I'm publicly crowdsourcing, meaning that I am even putting it out there on my social channels for people's direct feedback. And that's one of the reasons why within the very first module, I had you guys really with the DIY activity of your consumer purchase journey, because sometimes you really need to step into the shoes of your client or your consumer to really see if there's things that need to be changed or evolved or tweaked so that you're speaking as clearly to the consumer as possible. And of course, there are things that we can be doing, strategic things that we can be doing to incentivize and increase our website traffic. And one of the things is kind of sounds, like obvious, but we can increase the speed of our websites. A fast site not only converts better, but on a bigger site with a lot more content, of course, you will also get more organic traffic because the search engines are able to crawl your site faster and find more content and publish more content faster. Invest in mobile capabilities, of course. Consumers' use of mobile devices is greater than ever. before, which is why a robust mobile e-commerce platform is crucial, especially if the primary purpose of your website is e-commerce. Available solutions include, of course, mobile sites, responsive sites, apps, click-to-call tools, maps, and real-time notifications. So apps, of course, that's taking it, one step above the actual just website browser. I know some people who have, who are with us, purchasers of MMM are app-driven. So if you are app-driven, a lot of, the click-to-call feature or maps or real-time notifications. Real-time notifications you're able to structure for apps. Click-to-call tools might have to be inserted elsewhere. Or embedded on your app. But click-to-calls and maps, of course, can be implemented via Google as well. Have you ever been on a website? Have you ever been on a phone website, a mobile website, a mobile website, and you see the number and you just wish you could literally tap your screen and boom, it would call? That is a click-to-call, and that is such a seamless function to add onto your mobile website to really just encourage that viewer to call that much easier. And not say, oh, I have to remind myself to call later. And we want to optimize our shopping cart, especially our e-commerce purpose sites. E-commerce shopping carts are key to the success of online stores. When choosing an e-commerce shopping cart for your online business, keep customer satisfaction in mind, and you will be rewarded with customer loyalty. Now, an optimized e-commerce shopping cart has multiple payment options. And that doesn't mean, is it American Express or MasterCard? Can they pay via PayPal? I'm seeing this option more and more, and every time I see it, I am absolutely using it. It is such a pain in the booty for us to have to whip out our credit card or find our wallet in order to pay for something, versus we have so many apps or features synced to credit cards today. I think the stat is the average person has 5 different platforms synced to a credit card right now, where we could literally pay with a click of our finger or a tap of our finger. And payment options, I think, are going to become more and more in demand as as they continue to become more popular. And people, of course, if you could eliminate another step for someone to take, better opportunity of them actually following through. Product imagery, specs, detail, how-to videos. Everybody, when purchasing something, especially online, if they're not seeing it and touching it and smelling it in real life, want to have as close of an experience as possible. So that's why, give people the information about the product they're about to purchase. Give them the specs, give them the dimension, give them the fabric material, give them a size chart, give them high quality imagery that you're able to zoom in and zoom out on. And of course, if it's something a little bit more complex that could really benefit from someone showing somebody else how to do it, maybe have several how-to videos explaining how to use that product the way it will best suit the consumer. Product reviews. The average person reads between 3 to 5 reviews before they decide if they want to purchase today. So that's why having product reviews on your site, maybe on your actual product page, can really, help incentivize the sale. A wish list and a registry. Maybe your business does, fall into that category. Giving somebody a reason to use your website business in a larger scale, like a registry, for example, is only going to bring you more business, more clientele. Real-time inventory. So the last thing that somebody wants is to finally find the perfect, white shirt for the exact price point, and then they find out that, it's out of stock. So real-time inventory doesn't leave, somebody with a wet palette and then you're saying, oh, sorry, we don't have it for you. Express checkout. You know, Amazon has their, you know, one click to check out. If your e-commerce site is something that someone can have their credit card synced to and, you know, come back on a frequent basis so that they're not constantly having to re-plug in their credit card information, I think express checkout and payment options do go hand in hand. Again, the more seamless, less steps someone has to take and the faster the process, people won't even think about coming back because it would just be so easy to do it. Why wouldn't they? Order tracking. The worst thing is when you order something and you don't know even if it was purchased or where it is or when you can expect it. So definitely, if you could provide order tracking, I think that's just greatly beneficial all around, even for your customer service department. You know, the last thing you want is your customer service department bombarded by people saying, where's my package, did I order it, versus just literally delivering that information to the purchaser. Special offers and website security. Of course, you know, if FBI and the White House can get hacked, you know, what can't, right? So the more blatant or secure we can make our customer feel that you have security within your shopping cart, then I think the less likely they will to be nervous about inserting their credit card for purchasing your product or service. So we did allude to keywords in the beginning of our presentation. We're officially getting into the crux of it here. So what is keywords? Understanding keywords. A keyword is generally a word or phrase that is a topic of significance. Searchers use keywords as a way to identify and verbalize their problem or topic in which they're looking for more information. Businesses create content around relevant topics to their business, which helps them rank and be the content in which searchers find. Why do you need keywords? Well, for multiple reasons. You know, keywords are truly the foundation of all of our website content. The topic of every page and what it is about should tie directly back to a keyword or keyword phrase. Since keywords are topics, they are also prevalent when creating offers and emails. Think about it. If the keywords are relevant within your industry, and if you're offering an incentive to your email list, those keywords should be infused into your email sequencing copy. Keywords help visitors and potential customers understand the purpose of your page, and keywords help search engines understand the purpose of your page. Getting even deeper into keywords is understanding the difference between broad keywords and long tail keywords. Broad keywords are short words or phrases. While they may apply to your own industry and company, they also might apply to every company in your industry or even those in other industries. So broad keywords can sometimes be relevant to your industry but also allude to something else, which is why they could be not ultimately the most detailed of making sure you're specifically targeting the keyword to consumer, which is why long tail keywords are very important to understand, because they tend to be longer words or phrases that are more specific to your company or industry. And here is really mapping out some great examples to define the absolute difference between broad and long tail keywords. So when I say more detail, I mean, look at the difference between marketing and inbound marketing software. You know, so if you just typed in marketing to a search engine and you were really looking for inbound marketing software, you know, the term marketing isn't going to cut it and bring you the inbound marketing software. So, you know, magazines versus specific magazine, jewelry magazine, fashion magazine, watch magazine, car magazine. And the list goes on. And especially, you know, landscaping for those for those of us who, you know, are in a big service industry, you know, tagging your long tail keywords with where you are, where you farm your services, like Miami, Florida, is also going to be that much more specific for someone who's in Miami typing in landscaping. They're going to actually find your landscaping company that's available in Miami. So understanding both the broad words and the long tail keywords are only going to help people find your website that much faster. And creating high quality content and delivering it at high speed with relevant keywords, keyword phrases is going to help that searchability factor as well. High quality content is described as relevant and engaging information that encourages site visitors to return in the future. So like I said, you know, maybe your purpose of your website is e-commerce driven, but you also have a blog tab on your website because you want to encourage people to come back to your website and also stay on your website for, you know, you don't want people to just come and bounce out in 2 seconds. You know, what's the experience you could give somebody on your website that they're spending a little bit more time on the website, and maybe somebody likes the content on your website, not necessarily looking to purchase, but because they came to look at that article or that update or that information within your industry, they indeed see something that you're selling and boom, it's there, they want to purchase it. Content should reflect the given brand in tone and style and include the company's mission statement, services, and policies. So content that you're putting on your blog, that you're putting in your about, that you're putting on within your products, the explanation of each product, it should all be on brand. It should all be, you know, within the tone of whatever your brand essence is. Offer industry education and urge interaction and establish brand authority with your consumers. One of the reasons why people have blogs in addition to just driving traffic is to also establish brand authority, expertise within your space. So let's say you are in the landscaping business and you have a blog that you're also teaching people, you know, who want to know how to have a green thumb or want to know what, you know, we're coming into summer. What should we all do now that it's summertime, you know, within our landscaping protocol versus winter protocol. This is only going to establish your expertise in the landscaping business and make people, you know, think of you as an authority in addition to a service provider, making them trust you, want to engage in you, and of course interact with your website. Maybe you have a comment section, or you're placing a survey or a contest. What can you do to entice engagement within your website? Now, Google is something we think and say and do probably, you know, multiple times a day. I would love to know that statistic. How many times do we use Google a day? So why shouldn't we be marketing on Google? Especially because it's such a powerful search engine, and all of us, you know, when we think whether we need to know an answer or look up a trip across the world or, you know, purchase an item, we think to use Google as a search engine. So according to Search Engine Journal, over 80% of people choose Google to search for products or services. It's critical. It's absolutely critical that we market our business and have a presence on Google. And that means on Google Maps, using Google AdWords, and Google Shopping. We should all really take advantage of the opportunities Google gives us to further increase searchability for our business. And Google Maps is life. I can't even imagine life without Google Maps today. I never have to think about where I'm going or how I'm getting there or how long is it going to take me, because truly Google Maps is in the palm of my hand at all times. So getting on Google Maps should be huge for your business, especially if you are in retail and have a brick and mortar space. And in order to purchase a service or a product, if you aren't don't have an e-commerce site, you really want to make sure that you are giving nobody the reason to say I couldn't find you know, where your location is because of Google Maps. And when people search for a local service or product, Google Maps is where most of them turn to. Some studies show that 30% of people who look for a product or service on Google Maps end up buying it, which is awesome. Awesome for us to know. So Google AdWords was also on that list. With AdWords, I wish there was like a hand raising feature because there is a polling feature, because I would love to know how many of you have used Google AdWords or used or currently on Google Maps. Because especially if you're not, the time is now to figure out how to get yourself on there. So what are Google Ads? Well, with AdWords, you will see how many people are shown your ads. Google Ads is also a platform to place ads to drive traffic or incentivize conversion to your website via the Google search engine. And you can structure Google Ads to encourage certain action, which I really like. You can really customize to a targeted specific audience and a specific ask via Google AdWords. So for example, let's say you want people to get on the phone with you, kind of like an introductory call or a discovery call. You can actually place an ad that is in direct correlation to getting on the phone for a specific service of yours. Or it's because you want them to see a certain marketing video that you've launched and you want to drive traffic to an actual video ad. Google Ads allows you to really get creative and really customizable due to the current objective that you're currently looking for in your business. And I do love how you can track, of course, the clicks and the converted clicks to know how much money you're allotting and what results you're getting back on that return on that investment. So we've been talking about search engines a lot, and some of us may or may not be familiar with the term SEO, but I was actually just at a speaking event earlier today, and we were talking about SEO, or we got onto a topic that alluded to SEO. And I said I would love to have a hand-raising feature because I really do always love to see how many people are aware or not aware of what we're talking about. And I did ask, thank you, Jeff Libin, for raising your hand. How did you do that? Very cool. Clearly there is a function here. Wishes do come true, clearly. But I polled the audience today. It was probably 250 people in the audience of what did they know about SEO? How many people had heard of SEO? And I think about a quarter of the room raised their hand. So this is something to not feel foolish about if you really have no idea what SEO is. I kid you, I really kid you not. I think the majority of us know less about SEO than we do know about it. So SEO stands for Search Engine Optimization. It is the practice of increasing the quantity and quality of traffic to your website through organic search engine results. And that's one of the key words there, organic search engine results. SEO is essential because users trust search engines like a Google or a Bing or a Yahoo, and having a presence in the top positions for those keywords the user is searching increases the website's trust, increases the user of finding you, and of course increases the chances of converting them to a sale or a client. SEO is so important today and so beneficial to us today. It is something that my tech partner and I do for clients. We have organic SEO packages. We have green light packages, which means that we help you get to the first page on Google. These are all things that you can do. And that's what I said, put the disclaimer at the beginning of our presentation today, is that there are some things within the content we're going to be covering that leave it up to a professional to help you do it and do it right. This is, we all have our full-time jobs. We all have to worry about our content creation relevant to our industry or the social media creation relevant to our industry. Sometimes there are some things to leave up to a professional, and I really do believe good SEO is one of them. And a lot of people will tell you about all the horrible SEO experiences they've had with professionals in the past, because unfortunately, there are those individuals that take advantage of us who are not educated enough to know what they should or shouldn't be doing, and unfortunately we get ripped off. So trust the person that's going to say, that's going to help you increase the SEO on your website. Make sure you're doing it with someone that you really, know is quality and that, again, you do trust. So here's a perfect example of not only, how SEO helps, but also how keywords and long tail keywords really come into play. So you can attract all visitors in the world, but if they're coming to your site because Google tells them or they're a resource for Apple computers, when you're really a farmer selling apples, that is not quality traffic. Instead, you want to attract visitors who are genuinely interested in products that you offer. So the SEO and the keywords embedded into your website are going to help the quality of traffic coming to your website to make sure that that traffic is your targeted demographic. So of course there are things to improve our SEO, and if we could absolutely try to tackle them on our own, there are some things that are definitely easier than others, and help improve our SEO. Excuse me guys, I'm going on 2 weeks with this cough and cold. To improve our SEO, publish relevant content and update your content regularly. There's nothing more organic than helping build your SEO footprint than publishing content within your industry using the industry keywords. This helps our SEO ranking tremendously. And of course, those websites that have a blog and are keyword driven are going to only, that's only going to increase the chances of additional traffic. That's why I say e-commerce websites know your purpose, but is there a way to include content on your e-commerce site so that all around we're gaining and incentivizing more of an experience and time that our users spend on our website. Have a link-worthy website. So focus on creating relevant links within the text. This is something really interesting, especially because I see this all the time as well. Instead of having click here links, because now we can all go to hyperlink and change the text to the URL when we're hyperlinking something, within a piece of content or within an email sequence or within an actual blog post. So if this is an SEO, if we have SEO in mind, click here, the words click here, has no search engine value behind the attached URL. Whereas infusing keywords into the URL, like for example, first time parent app, the rich keywords, even though it is a URL, is only going to help our searchability, of course. So having link-worthy websites and embedding relevant links into longer forms of content absolutely help improve SEO. Use alternate tags. So I actually took a screen grab of where a lot of the options to adjust your longer form content is on potentially a WordPress website, or most of our we're using Squarespace or Wix or WordPress. All should really have alternate text feature here. And always describe your visual and video media using alternate tags or alternate text descriptions. This way, search engines are able to locate your page if people are researching in the search engine, a kind of funky way to find your ultimate service or product. And like I said, right, sometimes we need to leave certain things to a professional. And I just wanted to, I'm not going into depth on this because I am not an SEO professional, but I do have an SEO professional on my team that does handle all of this for your clients. I am all about knowing what you need to know to, be able to speak to your team, and also know what you need to know, especially so that I'm in control of making sure that I have all of this established on my website. And that's what you guys should be thinking of here, because this is certainly going, that much deeper into the SEO space, talking about metadata, title metadata, description metadata, keyword metadata. This is where a professional comes into play. Again, these are things that are all going to further take your SEO level to the next level. What is a PPC, aka pay per click? PPC stands for pay per click, a model of internet marketing in which advertisers pay a fee each time one of their ads is clicked. Essentially, it's a way of buying visits to your site rather than attempting to earn those visits organically. The most popular PPC program is Google AdWords, accounting for around 90% of PPC ad dollars. You know, again, shouldn't come as a surprise, being that 80% of us are using Google to actually, you know, search for whatever we are searching. Like we looked at all of these options, you can allot your advertising dollars to Google AdWords here in various different forms, whether it's a search ad or a video ad or an ad to actually lead to an app. You can customize it and actually put some ad revenue behind it to further incentivize traffic. So PPC is not necessarily organic. This is a pay-for-play model, but you are only paying for those who actually click into your ad. PPC campaigns are set up for several key reasons: to incite action or transaction, to generate leads, to build brand awareness, to alert people of a specific event, whatever it might be, whatever your call to action is you want to make sure that that call to action is established well within your PPC campaign so that the money that you're putting behind it, you're ultimately getting a nice ROI. And PPC is generally profitable when your business targets a specific segment of the market with a relatively unique product or service or offer. And like everything, there's always pros and cons. I think it's important to really, know the pros and cons of PPC campaigns or pay-per-click. And the pros are that it is highly controllable. Like I showed you, we went back to the Google AdWords. You can allot how you want to spend your money, and you can have, various different call to actions depending on what the overall objective is. It is easily measured, especially with Google AdWords. You will know how many clicks you got, how many converted clicks you got, where your money was being spent. Easily budgeted for. You don't have to spend an arm and a leg on PPC campaigns. You can get your feet wet, and as you start to know the call to action or that the copywriting within your advertising is converting well, I always suggest this. Don't, so a lot of people think they have to spend a lot of money to see action, whether it's Facebook ads or PPC ads or Google ads. I say start with a nice portion of ad budget, and you can always talk to a professional of what they recommend, someone who helps structure PPC campaigns on a regular basis for clients, to know what a relevant ad spend is in your industry, and get your feet wet first. Know the conversion rate is there before you start putting so much money behind it. And that's, of course, really knowing who your target audience is well. And you can easily control where your ads show up geographically. So if you're locally available, right? You're not regional or national. If you're very localized, you could specifically target your region. And the cons are that only active while you are paying. So PPC campaigns exist when you're paying the ad budget. As soon as your dollars run out, let's say you only put $5 behind your PPC campaign, as soon as the money runs out, of course, the ads disappear. And it can be expensive and often to get a great ROI for lower margin products or services. So that's why I always say consult a professional to make sure that it's worth their money, worth your spend, and also that the ads that you are structuring are conversion worthy. The last thing I would hate for any of us to do is put money and energy behind publishing an ad that isn't keyword driven or really speaking to your targeted consumer. So what is the difference between PPC and SEO? And truly, the main difference between SEO and PPC is that traffic coming from SEO is organic, it is free, while traffic generated from PPC is not free. So why, SEO is free organic, just for a reminder, is that this is all, SEO is very keyword driven. So we are optimizing the keywords within our search engines to, increase that searchability factor, versus PPC, we're putting some money behind targeted ads that we are paying only if people actually click on the ad. And I just wanted to give you an example of how you can know when you are searching now online if what you are looking at is actually placed there by an ad or placed there organically because of SEO ranking. So you can see this is a very random example of water heaters in Boise, but see the ad, which is the arrow is pointing to it. So that company in Boise, selling water heaters in Boise, placed an ad so that their service and that their business would populate high on the Google search engine. And you will always know if it's an ad because it will always say if it is an ad. Versus if you type in, water heater and it populated and the ad was not there, that company had, powerful SEO that they still got to the top of the page. And also, I wanted to remind everyone, remember when we were talking about websites and things that help us with traffic on websites, is that readers' attention is more focused to the top left corner of the screen. Look at where the ad is placed on that screen, top left corner. There is a lot of psychology behind how websites are formatted, and if you are working with a website developer, understanding the psychology of your consumer and what is most native to them in formatting of your website is, of course, really, really great to know. Difference between SEO and PPC: SEO is organic, SEO is longer term results, versus PPC, the ads dissipates when your budget goes dry. SEO is, of course, less expensive. We're not paying for SEO, versus PPC is paid advertising, and it can be highly successful when structured right, but it is more of a quick short-term results. I like to think of PPC as a faucet, where you can kind of turn the faucet on and let the water tinkle out, or really come out really heavy, depending on how much money you're putting behind it. And then whenever you want to shut that faucet off, you can shut that faucet off. So I kind of think of PPC as a faucet you can turn on or turn off at different times for different objectives. Exclusivity. I always say, people love the forbidden fruit, right? People love what they can't have, or they love having something that other people can't have access to. So having internet-only merchandise is a way to, instill exclusivity into your website, and also, incentivize people to act fast on your website if you have real-time merchandise on your website. So for example, you might have 5 of these t-shirts, but once those 5 t-shirts are gone, they're gone. That's going to encourage people to go to your website now and fast, and have little time to decide, do they want to purchase it or not. They know they only have 5 left and they want to be one of those 5 purchasers. So having exclusivity, or something only available online is a strategic way to, of course, drive traffic, create incentive for people to go to your website. You could have countdowns on your website, to a flash sale. So again, other ways to start getting creative and incentivizing traffic to our websites. Now here we're getting into the use of landing page or landing pages. For those of you who are not super familiar on a landing pages are the bread and butter of website conversions. When visitors are given targeted content, they are more likely to take the next step, such as filling out a contact form or actually purchasing a product. Too often, website visitors fail to convert simply because their clicks send them to the home page instead of a specific landing page that guides them through the sales funnel, essentially whatever you want them to purchase. And an effective strategy can greatly improve your conversion rate. So landing pages could be something that is literally created for something in particular. It's not, a landing page is not your website. It is a page structured for a purpose of some sort of conversion. And here, there are several reasons to use a landing page. Maybe it's a registration to something as simple as even a webinar. Maybe it's something in regards to a consultation for a professional service. So maybe that landing page is educating people on your area of expertise and what your service does entail as a profession. And that's there, and that landing page is used as a contact portal for them to literally book a call with you and actually schedule a consultation with you. It could be for a contest entry, like I said, a free trial or discovery call, to actually book inquiries, whether it's media or speaking, or maybe it's a fellow blogger inquiry for those content creators out there. Whether it's actually for a physical gift or a digital gift via mail, email, or direct mail, or notifications of a future product launch or program. If those of you, I mean, so many of us are all here from 10X, of course, this program was launched there. So many of you, some of you I met, and I got to actually show you the landing page to opt into. There is an actual landing page for this program, millennialmindsetmarketing.com. And if you go to millennialmindsetmarketing.com, that's a great example of how a landing page was used to help establish this program. It helped establish an opt-in for the program. It allowed me to give out my freebie, the Millennial Mindset Marketing Guide. And there's also an opportunity just to book a discovery call with me on the landing page. So I had a multi-purpose use landing page. And again, there's so many ways for them to be used for various industries. I love landing pages, and it absolutely does increase conversion rate because you're driving that person to exactly the ask. It's exactly the call to action. So if someone's a warm lead and they're stumbling upon exactly what it is they need, of course they're going to be that much more likely to purchase it versus navigating through a website to find what speaks to them. So we are getting into signature traffic builders here. And this is all to encourage traffic to whatever we want to encourage our traffic. Maybe it's to, of course, our website, or maybe it's we want to drive people to, one of our webinars that we're hosting, or a Facebook Live session, or a digital series, or to our email opt-in. But we could use our signature traffic builders to do so many things. Our signature traffic builder, why I have so many on here, is because there really are so many to choose from. Some people have one signature traffic builder. Some people have multiple signature traffic builders. And the way to decide what you need is really to know what's relevant to your industry. And what's the best use of your time, and how is your expertise going to be best showcased through your traffic builder? And what is your consumer or your clientele that going to be most receptive to? What experience are they going to partake in that's, of course, within your space? So whether it's a podcast, a Twitter chat, a blog, an actual structured newsletter, more than just an opt-in, are you sending a newsletter on a weekly basis, monthly basis that has some sort of sequence? A reoccurring Facebook Live, a YouTube series, webinars, or you're actually in-person speaking, or some sort of in-person training. So everybody should have a traffic builder. This is only going to increase traffic all around. It's going to increase traffic to our websites. It's going to increase traffic to our social media channels. It's going to increase traffic to our brick and mortar space if we do have a physical location. And it's going to create that much more engagement around your business, which of course we want in all ways. We have talked a lot about keywords and SEOs and high quality content, and that's because the power of blogging is real, everybody. Business blogging is steadily on the rise. You know, blogging used to just be, you know, thought of as, you know, people recapping their daily routines or their love life or their food diary, but business blogging is really becoming such an effective way to drive traffic, you know, increase our SEO ranking, and have that much more engagement on our websites, and of course further build brand authority and brand reputation. B2B companies, business to business companies with a blog receive more leads than those that don't. Higher blogging frequency is definitely more effective versus, you know, a blog every now and then throughout the year. A B2B blog has tremendous SEO benefits, and organic search attracts high quality leads. A company blog has more long-term ROI than traditional marketing efforts because, you know, think of how much goes into a blog, the SEO, the keywords, especially as you continue to populate your blog on your website, you're only building that much more of a solid foundation for SEO. And also blogs really allow you to get creative. Maybe you start getting creative in the way that you're curating content so that you're including other people within your realm with other expertise within your blog, so that you're starting to tap other people's audiences and driving them, you know, to your platform. 47% of buyers viewed 3 to 5 pieces of content before engaging with the sales rep, and that those pieces of content could be, you know, featured on the blog, or maybe they're also, you know, maybe they're also reviews. And B2B marketers that use blogs get 67% more leads than those do not. It's a large percentage. And this is what I was saying of how you can get really creative with blog content. So you can acquire contributors to your blog. I'm not sure if any of you have seen, you know, my blog on chelseacross.com, but we have over 250 incredible guest contributors. Being a guest contributor is strategic in so many ways. Asking people to contribute and contributing is strategic in so many ways. Because one, when you're acquiring contributors, it's less work for you and more content for your blog. That is fantastic, right? And for the contributor, they're tapping into a different audience. So for people who are contributing to my website, they're getting introduced to a whole nother platform of like-minded individuals than just showcasing a blog on their blog. So it's a really great way to cross-promote, you know, cross-direct traffic, and also leverage our network, of course. Social media is a really powerful tool to acquire contributors or look for contributor opportunities. And Haro, help a reporter out. It's a great way to find resources or sources for stories that you are writing. It's also a great inspiration of what's trending that is in your space that maybe you should write about or get a quote from to further get access to a larger audience. And there is nothing more powerful than reviews, right? You know, we are going to talk about user-generated content and influencer marketing in our social media portal module, but reviews on our website and reviews through our social media presence is an incredibly powerful tool for encouraging or making people feel more comfortable in using you as a service provider versus somebody else. Over 90% of consumers read online reviews before making a purchase decision. Your reviews can literally do the selling for you. So it's something to absolutely include on your website. Well, guys, that basically comes to the end of our module 3. That was a lot of ground that we covered. I hope that there was a lot of aha moments or some clarity in some of the terminology and how all of those marketing tactics can be used to your advantage, because all of these are available for all of us to really take advantage of today. Like I said, some things are going to need, you know, more professional assistance versus doing ourselves, but we should all know how to talk the talk today. I absolutely encourage anybody to reach out to me if they are in need of SEO or want to explore the PPC world. It is something that my team does do, in addition to a whole realm of other things. And here are just a few reminders going forward. Our next webinar together will be back on Thursday, on the 27th, next Thursday. You will be getting the recap email with the recorded file from tonight, tomorrow, of course, with our awesome bonuses of the week, which will be a SEO and keyword digital marketing guide, even more information on it. You will see my tech partner actually created this ebook with me, so you can get to know them a little bit better, or an introduction to them through the guide of who you would be working with if you indeed wanted to embark on the SEO or PPC route together, as well as my favorite software tool list. We're talking digital. Of course, there are so many software tools for us to really utilize today in various capacities, whether it is you know, graphic design or social media analytics or content creation or accounting, tracking hashtags, populating content on social media. I think I have about 10 or 15 tools on there, between 10 and 15 tools for you to really look through and of course see what speaks to you. And I say, when it comes to software tools, you really have to do like the 30-day trials, because what I might love, you might hate, which is why I kind of give a nice blanket variety for all of us to kind of get our feet wet and experiment of what tools really just speak to our needs or the way in which we operate. Again, the recap email will come tomorrow, of course. And if I did see a lot of new people join the Facebook group last week. Thank you so much. All of our content is posted in the Facebook group for you. So whether you are in need of the registration link or want to access the recorded video from the previous week, you can find them in our Facebook group, which is Millennial Mindset Marketing with Chelsea Cross. And then I've gotten a lot of inquiries about the strategy call, which I am very happy about, because I really love these strategy calls, because I call them like power 30 minutes. We get a lot of content covered and a lot of clarity within these 30 minutes. I like to provide a lot of, you know, aha moments, and they are nice and thorough because I do my homework before I get on these calls with you guys. So my average hour strategy call is $500. 30-minute is, of course, half of that. But for our Millennial Mindset Marketing group, our 30-minute strategy call is only $175. I'm here for you guys. I'm so appreciative of all the incredible back and forth that I've received from all of you since we started this journey together. So I'm happy to do it for a discounted rate. When Jeremy wants to know when the deadline for a strategy call is, the strategy call is open for the rest of the program together at this rate. So we're officially, you know, finishing our 5th week together. And so if you want a strategy call at this rate, you have until our 12 weeks to schedule a call. Here's a little bit more about what you can expect from a strategy call. I have sent out emails about strategy calls, and I will include the strategy call calendar link and purchaser link if it's something you want to do for yourself. So that about wraps it up, everybody. If you haven't had time to book a discovery call with me, I have opened up the discovery call option too through my landing page, Millennial Mindset Marketing. It's a 15-minute call. It is a get to know you call. It is for me to really understand where you are in your business so that I could suggest how I think I could be of service to you in a larger capacity going forward. I have 3 built established packages for clients that are robust, and you know, these packages are only for people who are really ready to dive in and take their business to the next level. These packages are called Next Level Launch packages, and it's because it's really, you know, my smallest term package is 6 months. Because you know, in the social space and even in the digital landscape, nothing happens overnight. So I want to make sure that, you know, we are really seeing results by the end of our time duration together. So there's a lot to do together, and if you're not sure where to begin, maybe book a strategy call to flush through, you know, to flush through really all options available. So that definitely concludes this evening, everyone. What a wonderful module it was, loaded with information. And I will see you next week. Just a reminder, it is back on Thursday on the 27th at 7 p.m. Otherwise, have a wonderful rest of your night, everyone. And I will see you after my honeymoon next week for our module Q&A. Have a great night, everybody.